most people who really care about you, who really love you, are gonna stop, like, because they don't want to lose you. They don't want to lose a relationship with you. So if your significant other, friends, family, whatever they are to you, continues to do it after, like I said, that first, second time, like that's the point in time where you have to realize, like, they might not really love you the way that you need them to love you. Because if they truly did, they would cut their shit out and would figure it out. Or at the very least, hello everybody out there. So for today's video, I wanted to do a video on what you allow will continue. So let me kind of jump into the idea of what that means, and then kind of give you some examples, and then kind of break down what I would recommend doing within those situations from those examples, or within your own personal life. So the idea of what you allow will continue is an idea that I originally only applied to, like, again, it seems like I always do this, like romantic relationships. But in reality, it also applies to any type of relationship that you have, whether it's with significant others, friends, family, whoever it may be. So it is applicable across all relationship types. Maybe not with like your boss, but something like that with everybody else. So the idea of what you allow will continue is basically just saying that things that you allow to occur or happen to you that others do to you in your relationships will continue to happen until you actually do something or say something about it and actually put a stop to it. It's a pretty straightforward idea. I feel like a lot of people should already know it, but I feel like sometimes people have to hear like a reaffirmation of like, hey, like if you're having this issue, then like this is what you need to do to solve it. And like I said, it sounds really straightforward, but until you really like think about it, you might not really think about it, which sounds kind of funny, but it is what it is. So a couple examples of romantic relationships as well as like platonic or family relationships where this kind of applies. And I'm going to give you like an extreme and then kind of like a more realistic, I guess, for like all these examples. So for a romantic relationship, you could be with someone who has cheated on you and you don't have that conversation. You don't put a stop to it. And more than likely 9 times out of 10, it's going to keep happening. Whether you find out about it or not is something completely different. But that's like a more severe example of like of something that can actually happen to you within a romantic relationship that can actually continue to happen. Another like lesser example is, let's say that your significant other, whoever it may be, doesn't text you or call you back in a timely manner. They don't really respond to you very much at all, especially like say it's Friday night, Saturday night, and they're out with their friends and they don't respond to you. And all you're doing is checking in to be like, hey, are you okay? Where are you guys at? How are you having fun? Whatever. And they don't respond to you until the next morning. That could be kind of like a lesser, more realistic example of like an actual relationship problem that's going to keep happening if nothing changes and you don't have an actual conversation about it. Now, on the family side of things, again, kind of like an extreme example and then like a more realistic example, or maybe it's a little bit lesser of a severe example. So this one is a little bit more truthful because I've actually heard this before from a couple friends where they had parents who would only reach out to them via text or phone when they needed money or they needed something or they needed a favor. And that was the only real time that they would ever reach out to their kid was, like I said, when they needed money, they needed a favor. And it was something that continued to happen and continued to happen. And that was pretty much the dynamic that they had built with their parent at that point in time. Now, a less severe example of this occurring is, let's say, for example, you have siblings and maybe they've accomplished more, they're older, whatever it may be, maybe they're married, maybe they make more money, and your parents make like an unfair comparison where they're like, why can't you be like your brother and get married, or why can't you be like your sister and, you know, go to college or be more successful? And it's kind of just putting you down, not directly, like not calling you shitty, but just kind of like making a negative comparison between you and your sibling or whatever it may be. So again, it's kind of the severe examples of within relationships like cheating and then maybe not texting or calling back, like when they're going out with friends, and then with like I said, with like your parents, or it could even be like siblings, friends, whoever it may be. Like I said, comparing you negatively to somebody, or maybe only reaching out to them, they need a favor or they need money or whatever it may be. So this whole idea of what you allow will continue, kind of like how does this actually apply and how does it actually work? Like I said, it's so basic and so simple, which is why the video is going to be pretty short, but it's just the idea that if you allow something to happen in a relationship and not put your foot down, whether it's with a significant other, friends, family, whoever it may be, if you don't put your foot down and say like, hey, like this shit is not acceptable, like I'm not going to accept this within my relationship dynamic with you, like this is not how this is going to work, then it's going to keep on happening. And the issue is a lot of times people will say like, that's it, no more, I'm not accepting this, you can't do this to me, you can't cheat, you can't talk to me this way, whatever it may be. And they don't end up actually holding true to it. They don't actually end up like really like putting their foot down. and it keeps happening and keeps happening and keeps happening, and they keep on having the same shitty conversation over and over of like, hey, this isn't okay, I don't like this, da 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 da, but they don't actually just be like, hey, like, fuck this, like this is done, like I'm not doing this, I'm not dealing with this. And I think this is really common in relationships, especially with significant others, where we allow them to do things that aren't necessarily okay or aren't being loving, excuse me, and we don't actually, just like I said, put our foot down 100% and stop it from happening. Because if it happens more than 1 or 2 times, I'm telling you, it's going to keep on rolling and happening. It's going to be a continual behavior from whoever. I think the hardest times to have these conversations, though, are with like your parents or maybe your siblings or friends, because of the fact that they're people that you don't want to offend, because you're going to be in a relationship with them for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not, on some level. And it's really hard to have that confrontation, especially with your parents. You don't want to be like, hey, like, you always compare me to my brother, and it really hurts my feelings, and I don't like it, and I don't want to hear it anymore. And like, if you keep doing it, I don't want to be around or have a relationship with you. And I think it's a lot harder to do it with, like I said, those types of people. But I can confidently tell you that with significant others, friends, family, whoever it is in your life that's having this continual negative pattern of behavior, you have to put your foot down, tell them like, this shit isn't going to happen anymore. Like, I'm not putting up with it 100%. If it happens again, after having that serious conversation, you have to make like a really serious like choice. You have to pretty much lay it on the line and say like, hey, this can't happen. If it happens again, like, I can't do this. I can't have a relationship with you. I can't be in a relationship with you, whatever it may be, whoever it may be with. And I think it's very difficult to do, because you then have to stick to your word. Because if someone cheats on you once and then they start texting somebody else behind your back and like kind of cheat on you, and you say, I'm gonna leave if this happens ever again, and it happens again and you don't leave, like, you've now given up. Like, I know I don't want to play like the power dynamic thing in relationships, but you've now given up all your power. You're not being truthful to your word, and they're gonna keep steamrolling you in the same way, doing the same shit over and over and over and getting away with it. And it's the same thing with like, your parents, or like I said, siblings, friends, is, especially with parents, like having that conversation. Like, if it continues to happen after the first time, second time, you have to really be like, hey, like, I love you, like, you're my mom, dad, brother, whoever, but if this is a continued dynamic, if you're going to keep doing this, you're going to keep treating me this way, like, I can't have a relationship with you. And then if it continues to happen, you have to be willing to walk away. It's a really hard thing to do. It's not fun. You don't want to have to walk away from someone because of them doing one stupid fucking thing that's like really disrespectful or really shitty in a relationship, especially from parents or family in general. But there comes a point in time where you have to respect yourself, stand up for yourself, and really value yourself. And it's kind of the idea of the overall video, like, to be really honest with you, is valuing yourself. I feel like enough people don't value themselves in their relationships, or just value themselves as like an individual person. So I think that's the hardest part, is being able to walk away and mean it, and to actually mean it. And I think that, like I said, that's the hardest part. You have to be willing to do it. You have to be able to stand up for yourself. And realistically, at the end of the day, most people, if you're really putting your foot down and telling them like, hey, like, if you do it again, like, I'm out, I can't do it. Most people who really care about you, who really love you, are going to stop, like, because they don't want to lose you. They don't want to lose a relationship with you. So if your significant other, friends, family, whatever they are to you, continues to do it after, like I said, that first, second time, like, that's the point in time where you have to realize, like, they might not really love you the way that you need them to love you. Because if they truly did, they would cut their shit out and would figure it out. Or at the very least, they're going to take a step back and maybe, like, it sounds kind of bad, but they might distance themselves in the relationship with you, with some friends or family, and be like, okay, I need to take a step back. Maybe I need to be around them a little bit less and really reevaluate like the dynamic that we actually have going on between each other. But again, I'm telling you, like, this is the whole self-respect thing. If someone's going to keep bulldozing you, keep doing the same shit, then you have to stand up for yourself and walk away and mean it. Not come back. Don't contact them. Don't talk to them until either you don't ever talk to them again, which is shitty, or they end up figuring it out and realize like, hey, I really did fuck up. I lost someone who was really important to me. I should have listened to what they said. And maybe they come back and they tell you like, I want to work on this. Maybe it's your mom, dad, and they come back and say, I messed up, son, daughter. Like, it sounds so funny to say that, but like, I messed up, son, daughter, and like, I want to fix this. Like, what do I need to do? And then from there, you kind of have to figure out if you really want to do it. You have to figure out if you really want to reinvest in a relationship with somebody who was, like I said, just steamrolling you and bulldozing you and not giving a shit when you were putting your foot down. Because if you don't do those things, if you don't stand up for yourself, I'm telling you, without a doubt, if you've lived enough life, the same shit will keep on happening over and over to you. You will keep on getting the same results. The whole, like, the definition of true insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different to happen. I know I rephrased that a little bit, but that's the whole point, is like if you continue to do it, it's going to continue to happen. You're going to continue to get treated shitty, and no one wants to do that. So stand up for yourself, be confident, be respectful to yourself, and mean what you say, and be able to walk away from a bad situation. So that's what I have really today for the video, because it's kind of short. The whole idea of the whole channel, doing all these videos, is to help people, is to help 100 million people change their lives in small ways and big ways, whether that's brightening somebody's day or changing someone's life completely. Whatever that looks like, that's what we're trying to do with all these videos and this whole overall greater than movement that we're trying to accomplish. If anybody does get any quality out of the content, I would ask you to please share it. I know a lot of people will ask you to like and share. If you want to support the channel in that way, or any of the social medias that way, that's awesome. I do appreciate it. I don't want to ask because it's kind of generic and the same repetitive shit you hear all the time. But I think sharing is more helpful, because more people are going to see the content, more people are going to be able to get helpful advice, and I think it just, like I said, spreads more positivity, more light, and more not just positive, but good information out into the universe. So this is the point in time. If you're watching live, or if you end up watching this video somewhere else, feel free to ask questions. Again, that's kind of the whole way that I like going about this, is if people want to ask questions live, then please do. It doesn't have to be about this topic. It can be about whatever topic you want to ask about, but feel free to ask live questions. And if you don't want to ask them live, message me directly somewhere, wherever you can find me, Greater Than Movement, Ethan Dean, whatever it may be, or put them in the comments, however you want to do it. So that's what I got for today for the YouTube friends out there. Thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good night, guys. Bye.